If you want to save money on your trading card purchases, we have a promo link over at 50cards.shop. Enter the promo code @night to get 5% off your order.
Hey everybody. In light of recent evidence, which is definitely not just the entire internet yelling at us for a week straight, we have decided to reinvestigate the topic of last week's podcast, and we're going to be doing it again.
Like right now. Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night, your weekly Vanguard podcast. I'm wearing a shitty suit jacket.
I'm
here.
Matt.
I'm wearing a tie that's the same color as my t-shirt.
Yep. And so last week on the show we talked about Bushiroad letting cheaters get away with it, and then this happened.
And then they decided to errata their cheating announcement. I saw somebody tweet that earlier this week, and I'm like, "Damn, they're right."
Oh, that's such a good tag too. Damn. So updated April 30th, quote, "We have reinvestigated the case that occurred during the recently concluded BCS 2023 with the cooperation of the TCG development team at Bushiroad. In addition to multiple instances of improper shuffling that resulted in card information being revealed, we have found evidence indicating a deliberate effort to take advantage of that information to manipulate the order of the opponent's deck." Which is to say, one giant Google Doc with like all the receipts in the world.
Yeah, as if it wasn't blatantly obvious that was what he was doing just from the footage.
Yep. As such, the following penalties will be imposed on the player in question under the infraction of cheating: revocation of their BCS 2023 World Finals placement and prizes, 24-month ban from taking part in any Bushiroad official tournaments, Bushiroad sanctioned tournaments, and or any tournaments that utilize Bushi Navi until April 30th, 2026. We apologize again for the oversight and will be taking steps to improve tournament integrity moving forward. We would also like to urge the community to remain civil in their discussions of this incident and refrain from making comments or videos that intentionally target groups or individuals related to the incident. Thank you for understanding. I like how at the end, like, I know part of it is don't like cyberbully the guy, but the other half is like, will you stop making fun of us now? We did the thing.
Yeah. So it's good that they like finally banned the guy after everyone was clowning on them for like a week.
Mm-hmm.
But it is really annoying that it had to like come to this, right? Like, I feel like they should have been able to figure all this out from looking at the footage the first time. Like, I don't think any like new evidence came up. It's just people like broke down the cheating more to make it like very blatantly clear. Well, but like they should have been able to see that themselves, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of institutions that should have been able to see this or that, but that's also why students are protesting on colleges.
But typically they choose not to.
Yeah,
or benefiting by not seeing it.
Yes.
They're benefited by not seeing it.
Though in this case, there was no like benefit to it, right? Like, I know we speculated that he like had something on them, but like realistically, just based on what they were saying in the announcement, it does seem like they probably just assumed that this was not something that warranted like a full-on ban or like would have disqualified him from the tournament completely, maybe just like a round loss. So they were content to just like, you know, throw their hands up.
I think if you're running an event for a game of chance and you have somebody actively cheating, I think that's regardless of that, especially a pattern behavior of cheating, they deserve to be gone for a long amount of time.
Yeah.
I just think that it's the way it has to be done. In
And
order people want to play your game.
I think it's kind of good they didn't like ban him for life, but enough time where it's annoying to like you're not going to be able to participate in any sanctioned tournaments. Therefore, he'll probably leave unless he's sitting there biding his time to come back for 2026.
Another game. Maybe he'll just go to another game and cheat there.
Exactly. Well, because we've seen that, right?
Yeah, he already cheats in like 5 other card games. So like, what's different?
Right. So like, eventually you'll run out of card games people actually care about.
Mm-hmm.
Guys,
Like I think the dude's
any
cheating
buddy
in
fight
One
players
Piece now.
Oh, the One Piece cheating thing is so funny.
why? How do you cheat in One Piece? What's like the way to do that?
I think the one that was going around, it was like a remote event, so the guy had like the cards in his hand, right? Let me just grab some cards real quick. Ah. But like the guy had like the cards in his hands, right?
Mhm.
And then he would like kind of suspiciously kind of shuffle the cards down and then
Oh.
slide the cards back up. And so people were just joking like he has a guy under the table, like handing
feeding
him
stuff.
cards.
That's so funny.
Could you imagine being that guy? Just 8-hour tournament, you're like
You know.
get full crotch smell of your
Yeah.
of your buddy, like
Like you just
handing
see a
cards.
card like sliding up.
That
Yeah.
would be so funny.
Is the round over? Can I come up now? Shut up, Gary. We're still on round 2, you know?
It is so funny.
Oh my god. So, that's interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't ban him for life. I already explained that. And then at least now we like Bushiroad knows not to do this again, hopefully, where they're like, oh, maybe we should just ban people when
As much as I would like to pretend that Bushiroad is good at learning lessons.
Yeah, good point.
I mean,
But-
apparently, like overseas sales make up like 50% of Vanguard's sales, and they still don't give a shit about us. So, like, I don't trust Bushiroad to know anything.
It's fine.
So that's that, I think.
Yeah.
Bushiroad also did something that is less good, which is they gave us more frickin' over triggers.
Nice. I hope I can just write these off immediately.
Oh my god. Well, so the first one is a spiritual king of bright sky, Meridzambilia. Sure. So much like an overtrigger does the 100 million, and then the additional effect is you draw up to 1 card for every 2 of your opponent's open circles in total of their rear and guard circles, and retire all of your opponent's rear guards and guardians. Hey, so it's the overtrigger is gonna get through it anyway. Oh, you're gonna retire my guardians too? All right, whatever.
Yeah. Like,
It's fine. Like,
I don't know. Like, obviously, the more important thing is the tempo swing of like wiping your opponent's board and drawing cards.
yeah.
So, like, this is something that like could be very strong early, where you're probably just gonna like draw 4, 1 from the overtrigger effect, and then like 3 more from the additional effect.
Yeah.
And then otherwise, like late game scenario, wiping your opponent's board at an opportune time could just cripple their next turn if they don't die immediately.
Mm-hmm.
The part where it can also just like guard break your opponent, I think is not that important. Like, you could already do that with just the regular overtrigger, right? The one that just gives 100 million twice.
Yep.
And then the Brandgate overtrigger, depending on the numbers, could potentially also like break guard.
Yeah.
So that's a little less like scary. I feel like in a situation where the OT is coming up, you're probably just screwed anyway.
Yeah. Like, let me get it straight here. I don't think this is bad. It's a very good effect. I just, as far as overtriggers go, I think you have better options most of the time.
I mean, I thought that about the blue one, and the blue one is just like the best OT.
Yeah, that's true. And that's what I was actually thinking that today. I was like, what if I'm wrong? Because the one after this is the one where I think it's the superior of the 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I also thought that about the red one, and look where we are. So
yeah. Although in hindsight, it turns out that having a critical trigger that's 100 billion is actually just really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the utility of just like getting a card back.
Oh, good. So
I think it's funny that this card includes the guard circle, so if your opponent has no field and no guards, you get to draw 3.
Yeah.
that is pretty funny. That's all right, thanks, buddy. Like, good stuff. So yeah, Root Beer, when you brought this up on Twitter, you said the red and the blue one had a baby, and that's my headcanon now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the spiritual king of the night sky, Nix Lazelia.
the cat
So
walked across the keyboard. I guarantee it. Yeah.
yeah, so it's a purple over trigger. So its additional effect is like you choose a card from your damage zone, put it into your hand, and then you choose a card from your hand, call it to rear guard circle, and it gets power plus 10,000.
So you heal
So
yourself.
yeah, so it really is just like the red and blue ones had a baby, right? Like it has like getting a card from the damage zone is like a similar utility to recycling from the drop zone. And then you can call something from your hand, like the red one can also do that in addition to like the restand.
And you're also at 1 less damage.
Yeah. So this is the more like straightforwardly powerful one, right? Like if nothing else, it is just a free heal and utility. And then
Yes.
depending on your deck's attack pattern, because like some decks, you know, like on the Vanguard attack, they might like restand their units or something, and so calling something from the hand can be awkward.
Yeah.
But like that's still fine, right? Like if you check it early, you know, it gets you some utility back and lets you like aggro your opponent a little bit. And then, you know, but you can also just like call the thing to like a back row, right? Like you don't have to call front row necessarily for additional attacks if you don't need to.
Yeah. And it says choose up to 1. You can just draw and hold, like,
Yeah,
if you want to.
Mm-hmm. And then also, if just on the off chance you have something that can attack from the back row, that could also work.
That's so fucking funny. That would be cool. There's I'm trying to think if Magnolia has a thing where if there's a continuous, it can attack from back row, because most of the other back row attack, it's like.
Well, I think if you're just playing the grade 4, right?
No, you know what? It's the mask, because if it's on the Dragon Tree marker,
Mm-hmm.
you get the ability to swing from back row in that boost.
Yeah.
So calling that's so fucking funny. I think I might run that. That's pretty cool.
So yeah, I think like both these over triggers are strong. It's just like hard to be excited about new over triggers.
Yeah. I feel like by making these, they're just kind of shoving it in our face. Like, we're not getting rid of these ever. We're making more of them.
Yeah. Anyway, as far as like potential use cases, like how are we terming? I'm just gonna call it the yellow one. Like the yellow over trigger, I feel like maybe you could use in like a guard restrict deck, so something like Luard or Blankmeyer. But at the same time, it's like you could also just run the blue one, and then when you break their guard with the blue one, you also get a crit. So like you just win the game anyways, most likely.
Yep.
I don't know. But yeah.
Seems pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah, like it's hard to feel excited for any of this.
Okay, well, yeah, for the OTs. For the other thing, yay, good. How do you guys feel about the concept of just being excited when a victory is won by action, but they should have just not done that or in the first place? It's a little bittersweet, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, because it's just like you just had to take the most unnecessary L for us to get here.
Yeah, like we shouldn't have to be doing this.
Like there is the hope that like after being clowned on like this, that they would have learned some kind of lesson, but also like history has proven that that's kind of a vain hope sometimes.
Atlas, have you ever seen the movie Burn After Reading?
Yes, I love that movie.
Where it's just like a huge freaking clusterfuck, and the end of the movie is like, what did we learn from all this? Let's not do that again.
Yeah, pretty much. If anyone hasn't seen Burn After Reading, go see that.
It is an absolutely absurd movie.
I'm gonna go
as is the Coen Brothers style.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like that movie. I thought it was pretty good.
It was good too. Yeah. Brad Pitt is a lovable idiot like he is in most movies, and just is fantastic. I I don't know. I'm pretty much out of steam.
Yeah,
That was all we were going to talk about.
there really wasn't a lot this week.
Yeah.
See, the problem is we're recording this on a Wednesday instead of the usual Friday, so we can't talk about Dayusha.
Wait,
Yeah.
Dayusha's being revealed?
Yeah.
Hold on. Finally, a cool card.
Okay, so Matt, you're the Dayusha stan out of the three of us,
Okay.
I think. Or Daikaiser, I guess. But
Sure.
what's
Dimensional Robo.
I do like Daikaiser more, but that's okay.
yeah. So what do you expect to see out of this?
He's probably going to gain a lot of power and a critical.
Yep. It's gonna be the most boring thing you've ever seen in your life. I fully believe. They should print a third Commander Laurel, I think.
They should. They probably will.
I think we need one more Commander Laurel.
All right, but what's this Commander Laurel gonna do? We already have one. Like, we already have one that restands. We have one that doubles your like power, right?
This is the Energy Blast Commander Laurel, of course.
Of course. Energy Blast 3 and rest 3 rear guards. Your Vanguard gets plus 5k and a critical.
Yep.
Don't tell me it's not possible, because it is.
No, they usually like stick pretty close to what the original cards did.
Yeah,
I mean, V Laurel versus original Laurel aren't really too related, except for resting.
No,
on the
I mean
rear
in
guards.
D, like they usually stick closer to what the cards
My-
used to do.
Oh, okay.
So is Dayusha going to have a ride line associated with him?
I
Yeah,
assume so.
So it's going to be interesting because, like, classically, Goyusha was like the starter for Dayusha.
Yeah.
However, that doesn't really work with how D is structured. So I wonder how the ride line is going to kind of like pretend in some way.
That there was a ride line. Oh, it's probably like what the 8K vanilla and the 10K vanilla.
Sure, but that doesn't. Well, probably the 8K and 10K vanilla dimensional robos. I would imagine,
Right.
rather than the old vanillas from
yeah.
whatever set Dayusha was in 7, 8. I don't remember.
I think Dayusha was like early.
Oh no, yeah, it
Pretty
might have
late
been.
break
It
even.
might have been early. I was thinking the Great Dayusha.
Oh yeah, great Dayusha was after Limit Break became a thing.
It was somewhere around Aquaforce.
Yeah.
Oh god, what if it's the Enigmans? That would suck.
Not again. They can't.
Yeah.
They can't screw it up again.
Cosmo
No,
Beach.
like they're like pretty good about. Oh, see, that's the thing. We have to go back to like the old anime to see like what the ride line was.
Yeah.
Because I know there was like a particular sequence of cards for you to like ride up early.
I
right?
honestly think it'd be probably like, at least classically, like the cards you rode were like they could just make the ride line just the cards that people wanted to ride back in the day, rather than like
Yeah.
old,
Because that's what they did for other ones, right? Like they had
Yeah.
like Bar and
like
then,
Die Brave or Die Marine or what
Mhm.
have you.
yeah, and then yeah, because the Aquaforce ride line was also just the vanillas, right? It's like same with the Kagura one.
Mm-hmm.
What other fucking encounters? Yeah, like Majesty. You had like Sparkle, Marin, then Blaster Blade, and then MLB.
Yeah.
Same thing for like Shadow Paladin. You had like Javelin, Blaster Dark, and then Phantom Blaster. So
Yeah. In
like,
Javelin and Blaster Dark's case, that was a literal ride line or ride chain.
yeah,
Yeah.
But not all of these encounters had one, right?
Mhm.
But it makes sense for Kagura to have the vanillas, or at least like Dote.
Yeah.
Or Draconic Overlord, I should say. Just
Yeah.
because like that was pretty common back then.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't as common for Dayusha. It just it would be weird. It also wouldn't fulfill Dayusha's condition, right?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know what the new Dayusha is going to do.
Well, I'm just saying, like, he cared about how many D-Robos you have in Soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, theoretically,
Yeah.
new one will care something about that.
What were the cards that came out with Great Dayusha?
Yeah, because
that's probably the one they're gonna go with, right? I wonder
Yeah.
if they're gonna make Great Dayusha in this set, because apparently they're already talking ahead about just putting Daikaiser into the deck. or into the game at some point.
Because like the V Daikaiser looked more like a rear guard, kind of. And then
Yeah, so that came in BT.
Oh, sorry. Dayusha just care. Sorry, I was thinking Great Dayusha yet again. I'm mixing Great Dayusha and Dayusha up about 8 billion times.
Mhm.
Great Dayusha cares about having D-Robos and so original Dayusha does not because there's not enough D-Robos at the time.
Yeah.
So it'll care something of power being greater than something. And,
yeah.
it'll do stuff.
Yeah,
It'll gain a crit for sure. That much we know.
Mhm. Let's see. So like starter is probably like Go Yusha, right? Like that was always the starter.
That seems like a foregone conclusion. I think it's the 1 and 2 that we're speculating about. Also, if I remember to, I'll put like a stitch in here somewhere being like, this is what we really think now that it's come out, because people are probably listening to this being like, it's fucking terrible, dude. Why is everyone so excited about, or whatever, vice versa? It's broken. I don't know.
Like Dimariner was like, a ride that you might care about at that time. So I would think like Dimariner would be like,
that makes sense. That
the ride line.
Like that makes sense.
And honestly, the second ride didn't really exist for a long time, so it could be a number of things.
Because like I imagine Die Dragon is going to be like a rear guard.
Yeah, it usually is. Because isn't the whole point that all these like little dimensional robos become Dayusha, Great Dayusha?
Like they all combine with Go Yusha to become Dayusha. So it would probably like Die Mariner is the so Go Yusha is just like the main body. I think Die Mariner became the legs. And then I don't remember, does it just equip like Die Dragon as like the rest of the parts?
I thought Die Dragon was the arms, right? Like the head goes in the middle and then the wings become the arms or something.
Yeah.
There's probably some dimensional robo nerd in the comments being like, I know exactly what fits everywhere.
See, now I actually do want to look at like the V releases because I feel like that would somewhat inform like what the parts would all be.
Yeah.
My issue with Die Dragon being part of the ride line is that like I think it works better as like not being part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, and also like Die Dragon was always like the shield, I think.
You're right. It is the shield. Because I'm looking at the V version and he's more like curled in.
Yeah, you can kind of see the face of it in the shield, huh?
Yeah.
Die Brave, maybe?
Like Die Brave
silver guy?
One.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking both 1s and 2s here.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like Die Mariner as the grade 1 makes sense, and then like there's not really a grade 2.
Cosmo Beak.
Yeah, I guess.
Mass Police Grander. That's not anything.
Yeah,
dude, I don't know. I'm just.
We will literally find out tomorrow morning.
Yeah. At the time of recording this. For people listening, you already know and think we're stupid. Bless you.
Just make it Die Fighter. Just do it. Who cares?
Yeah.
That's BT13.
Just because you reminded me. Hi, TIE Fighter. Hope you're well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Haven't seen or heard from him in a while. It's funny that we're talking about Dimension Police stuff because that's what I intend to end the Vita Premium transition series with, is doing Dimension Police.
If Different Fight will ever call us back.
Yeah, he'll call us back. I'll get a hold of him. It's fine. My problem is who's going to do Murakumo with me? What expert can I find on Murakumo? What player can I find that plays Murakumo and is like, this is awesome?
Yeah, Murakumo just kind of hasn't been around since they got rid of the tiger.
Mm-hmm.
Very unfortunate that Nue Dio is like the only thing
that made them anywhere like halfway relevant. Yeah. But I want to do it for all of them just so we cover all our bases, Got people who are like, it's a road pick. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, so hope Dayusha was good if you're listening to this.
See, we should just like impromptu record our opinions like tomorrow morning when it comes out and just like splice it in.
Oh yeah, I was gonna stitch myself in with like our little Twitter conversation after because I'll have the time. The reason we're not recording this on Friday night is I got a work thing on Friday night. So
Hey, you.
yeah, and yeah. What do you think of the new Overtraders? What do you think of Bushiroad finally bending the knee?
Yeah.
And
What do you think of Dayusha?
what do you think of Dayusha? Comment below. Comment on the podcast app that you're listening to this on. Tweet us at Nexus at Night or whichever social media that we're on. Hit us up if you want to support the show. Patreon.com/Nexus at Night. Thanks to Darren, Cole, Josh, Jeremy, GR, Ali, and Tony, our $10 patrons. If you're in that tier, you get your stuff a day early as well. You get a whole ass bonus show with 2 to 3 of us talking about whatever. You also get that if you pay $5. Just don't get the mention ahead and don't get your stuff a day early. But hey, free bonus show if you do that. So yeah, how about the rest of us?
Find me on Twitter at Wiggum, 2Gs2Zs.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
Me at Atlas Novak and all the places. You can also check out my other show at Generation Dan. Generation Dan is the name of the podcast on your podcast app of choice. My YouTube channel, The Epileptic Comic, and my other podcast, Last Minute History. We just put out an episode about the weapons that the samurai used because that's not stupid. Yeah. If you subscribe to Gen Dan, you get Last Minute History too. So thanks everybody for listening. And until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night, everybody.